And when we're rolling, Dean, we're good? Carrie, could you please do the roll call?
Of course. All right. Christia Claire.
Here.
Catherine Consalvo. Sierra Dolce.
Dulcie.
Dulce, thank you. Here. Julie Hammond. Julian Kishka. Michael Mascola. Todd McCormick.
Here.
Sue Sherman.
Here.
Karen White.
Here.
Mark Sherwood.
Here.
Fantastic. Okay, next up, Christy, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Christy. So next we're going to do the approval of the minutes, and Sierra and Karen, typically what we will do is if you weren't here at the last meeting, you would just, when we go to approve yes or no, you would just abstain. So we usually will get these out, and we did get these out ahead of the meeting. So what I like to ask is, coming into the meeting, if you could try to read over the packets and just check out the minutes ahead of coming in, then we can spend, we have 5 minutes allocated here, but if you read them ahead of time, we can just kind of go through them and then knock those out. This time around, we have 2 sets of meetings because we had 2 official meetings back in March.
So move to approve the minutes of March 24th organizational meeting.
Second.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from March.
Oh, she already made a motion.
Oh.
Talking about
Oh,
the
you did
second
both?
batch.
We're in one motion here, so we gotta approve these.
Oh, I'm
One set
sorry.
at a time.
Wait, isn't there 2?
There
There are,
are.
we're just gonna do
One
the,
set at a time.
yeah.
2 different meetings.
I guess I'm overly eager.
Okay, I'm gonna call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, yes. All opposed? Abstain? Okay. And next up, we'll do the meeting minutes for the regular Budget Committee meeting on March the 24th. You can make a motion for that now.
That seems like a good time.
Mhm.
I will make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes for March 24th, 2022.
Second?
Second.
Mark Sherwood seconds.
So do these minutes reflect, these minutes reflect our future agenda and dates.
Yes.
Yeah. Including on page 4 of 5, the date is set for August 25th. It's down close to the bottom of that
Yes.
page. August 25th at 7 o'clock in the SAU boardroom. We made that decision before we left the meeting.
We did, that's right. Definitely accurate.
There it is on page 5, another date mentioned again, and mentioned again. So it's mentioned 3 times in the minutes when this meeting was gonna happen.
Correct. All right. We'll call for a vote. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. Opposed? Abstain? 2 abstentions. Okay. Moving on.
If we could, just real fast before we move on, did we ever reach out to the selectmen to invite them on the tours? The selectmen from the individual towns? I know that's something that had been suggested. Do we know whether that actually happened?
Let's handle that in
New business?
We'll do
Yep,
that in
other.
like other business.
Okay. Thank you.
Or we could do it in some other parts of this agenda as well. Maria, do we have any correspondence?
No, I actually think you checked the email, right?
Yep, the only email in there is the one I sent last meeting that says test.
Okay, all right, perfect. Obviously, we don't have any delegates and individuals here. Administrative report, normally, Chris Kellen would do that, but, you know, traditionally, before the superintendent attended our meetings, we used to go to your predecessor, Maria, so maybe you could just
Yeah.
give us an update on what's been going on since last we saw you in March.
Yes, so we have been very busy here at the SAU and district-wide. We actually have completed our financial audit for the district for the year 2021. I will absolutely make a mention of my assistant BA, Lisa Oliver. She drove the entire audit, my team behind her, and they finished the audit before the DOE 25, and yesterday she actually also finished the DOE 25, which I submitted today.
Okay.
We are
Excellent.
ahead of schedule.
So what does that feel like?
September 1st.
Yeah, what does that feel like?
That was our goal, and we did it, so I thank you,
job.
Lisa, and my entire team. It has been hard, we have been working really hard to make it happen, but we did it, so I'm very proud of my team, and we keep just moving forward.
Great,
Timberlane
congratulations.
together.
Yes.
That's us. We also have today the welcoming for our teachers and our paras and all of our staff. Our superintendent and new assistant superintendent, Justin, did a very kind welcome to all of our staff, which I personally appreciate. It was a heartfelt presentation where they share a lot of good things with us. They took the time to interview with the staff, with administrators, with kids. They show us videos of kids saying what they like about our district, what they don't. It was an extremely well done presentation. So I do want to let people know that. I want parents to know out there, if anybody's watching, that we have two very good administrators leading this district right now.
Fantastic.
I think they're very good human beings, so we're lucky to have them.
Would that happen to be available on the Timberlane page for anybody that wanted to review that? Do we happen to know?
I will turn to Dean on that. I'm not sure, Dean, do you know what the plan is for
Did
those
that get recorded?
presentations?
That has been discussed as a possibility. So, yeah, the recordings were just produced last night and for today, so
Okay.
I believe that that's the plan.
Okay.
Excellent.
Probably, I'm pretty sure, I can't speak for the superintendent, but I'm pretty sure he will be happy to share that with
Sounds like
with
it could
the
definitely get
community.
the whole district pumped up, right?
Yes, yes, it's definitely good messages there, emotions, people happy to be here, and I think that's something that we all want to share.
Where were you, over at the PAC?
Yes, at the entire, all the staff for the entire district, all
Fantastic.
together, love it.
I noticed that on, I belong to a couple other, Educators 603 it's called, and a lot of communities have been putting the photograph, you know, long distance, so you can't really see anybody, but long distance shot of staff being welcomed by superintendent. And I think that's a great idea. Okay, where's Timberlane's? Let's get a long distance shot of that welcoming, out across our media.
Did we take any pictures today?
Take
Do
any
you
still
know?
photographs?
Of today's event, it was recorded.
It was,
So,
okay, yeah,
all right,
maybe we
you know,
can take
still
some
shot.
shots.
There were some still shots taken yesterday, I think the middle school and a couple
Of
others.
staff, yes, I saw those.
Yeah.
And each building put those up, I don't know if you saw those, but,
Maybe we can take a shot of the video
Sure.
to make it a.
yeah, just
a
that
picture.
whole long distance shot of, here, we're all here together.
Yeah, I'll check it out to see what we have.
Perfect, thank you.
Great. Thanks,
Yeah,
Maria.
So, we're good.
Sounds good. Sounds like you guys are ready to get started. Reports of committees, we have budget chair update in here. I mean, I don't really have an update necessarily, but I'm sure Chris would have at least covered part of these going back to school open houses. So I'll just say I just came from one at the middle school. It was just unbelievable. Tons of energy. School, I mean, we're gonna see it all in the facilities tours, and we'll cover that during this meeting. with these flyers. Thank you very, very much, Carrie, for getting those made. But the school looks fantastic. The staff is just roaring to go, and it was awesome. So that's my own personal report there. As far as other committees, I believe Sue or Christie.
Yeah. I attended both CIP meetings that were held.
Thank you, Sue.
And sat in for the first one, and then sat at the table and represented the budget committee for the second one. I thought it was a productive meeting, lots of juggling around of this long, big Excel spreadsheet.
Any major changes? Any shifts?
Nothing much.
Not really.
We're waiting for the facilities. I mean, it's mostly about facilities.
Of course.
The technology stuff's pretty set, that's pretty standard, but it's the facilities, we're gonna do this year, or next year, or the year before. And once it's on the CIP, there are people that say, just take it off. No, it's there, you just move it out. That it had been a request.
The track's still on there, I guess.
Yes, the track's still on there. As is the science wing and, a lot of building kind of facility things. And new things have come on, and there were some things that were mentioned, and I said they're not on the CIP. And so we reminded people that you need to speak to the administrators at each school. If they have something, and you've discussed it with facilities, that you on the plan, and it's over 20, did we move it to 20?
We moved it to 30.
30,000, we moved it to 30,000, we used to have a 10, so there's some smaller things on there originally. Get it on there, make sure that Carl knows, and that Maria knows, and that superintendent knows you wanna put those on the CIP. So, it was a couple of years, it had some big bulges in it, but we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah, about the only other interesting, potentially noteworthy thing is some people had brought up the potential of looking at more longer-term planning with our buildings and the average age of school buildings in New Hampshire and New England, and, maybe we want to start looking at some long-term planning for building replacement.
For the CIP or for the strategic planning?
That was strategic,
Yeah,
sorry.
that got
It-
kinda.
it- yeah.
Well, I know you're doing both.
Yeah, so it gets overlapped.
Yeah.
Into discussion of where would you put that, and how would you fund that, and is it a bond, and I'd have to say, that's not the CIP's committee's job.
Right.
How you fund it.
So I'm confusing that with strategic then, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, CIP's more like low-hanging fruit
Yeah.
that we can try to tackle
Well,
over
30,000 and up, so.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so segueing to strategic plan, any reports on that? Or
I didn't go to that meeting, I never got noticed.
did it ever happen?
You didn't.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
did not
it
get
did.
noticed
We had
on that
one.
meeting.
Okay,
I don't know if I got skipped, I kept waiting for an email, I didn't get one.
okay.
So, if somebody could make sure I'm added to the,
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, please, Mike.
So I'm on the strategic planning committee. We haven't invited the public yet, or like.
no, there's,
I'm not public, I'm the
there's
budget
a
committee.
budget committee, representation on there.
Yeah.
Originally, I was getting the emails, but
I
I
check
thought
with
I had
Kelly.
asked, that,
Check with Kelly.
Sue and, was it you, Christie? That Sue and Christie be copied in on there to, come and sit at the table.
Yeah, we're not quite at that stage yet, but I believe we're supposed to be inviting like other.
Yeah, we should be.
parties involved.
Oh, okay. There was only one meeting though, right?
We've had two.
Yeah.
You've
We
had
have
two.
another
No,
one
but
coming up.
the first one, it was only you and Kim with Chris, and it was more like because both of them are new, like to kind of explain, so that was not an official meeting. It
All right,
was-
so you've had an official meeting,
Well,
and
yeah,
there was no
okay.
representatives from the budget committee?
I will definitely check with Kelly.
Yeah,
I'm not
Kelly
sure that
sends
she
those
was
out. I'll make
aware.
sure you're
It
on the
could be
list. Thank
Kelly's new, she was, okay. Let me check with her.
Okay.
I will definitely check with her, and I apologize.
Okay.
I don't know what
No worries.
happened.
I would have been there, I kept looking, unless I missed it.
All right, we'll get that rectified. Okay, thank you for the updates. We're gonna move on to new business, and I am gonna hand things over to Maria to go over the 2021-22 actuals versus budget. Just so the public knows, we calculated the budget that was worked off of last year, 18 months in advance, I believe, right, Sue?
Yep.
So, so we're gonna now look at what we budgeted in 2021 how that turned out in 21, 22. Right, Maria?
So first for the revenue, we had brought up about $1.2 million more than what was budgeted for revenue. A big part of it, $930,000 for that was the additional adequacy aid that we accepted back in the fall. So we were pretty close on target with the budget that we had for revenue. For expenses, we had $75.6 million in the budget. We actually spent $68.3 million, leaving a balance of $7.2 million. Out of that, obviously, that's not all what is left because we have encumbrances that we do for projects that were already initiated this year or agreements that we already have in place. So we encumber some of those funds for
That's
this
the
year.
814, 630?
No, that's last year's.
Oh,
So this
okay.
year is $2.1 million that
Okay.
we moved from last year's budget into this
Oh,
year's
gotcha.
budget. I'm looking at the other sheet that you guys have. So we have the $2.1 million of encumbrances that we did for this year. We had an adjusting entry from the audit last year, which was the ESSER one funds. It was the first $124,000 that we got for ESSER, that we booked it on 2021, but they make us move to 2022. And then we have the $991,000 for the additional adequacy aid. So that leaves at $3.6 million that we will be giving back to the taxpayers,
Oh, wow. Okay.
which is pretty much in line with last year. It was 3.5, short of 3.5 last year, so we're trying to be consistent and trying to keep it balanced. Now, with that said, we all are aware that this year we are planning to do a lot more projects. Last year, we did accomplish quite a bit. But that's what we're doing. We're starting to take care of our maintenance, start a maintenance plan that actually takes care of our facilities, and we're moving along with that. So probably next year, it won't be quite as much, but
Okay.
we will see it in our buildings. So
Right.
hopefully that will go along. I also updated the loan report that some of you have expressed that like it a lot, which is the trend report, the 10-year trend report. As you know, these have the details, the line detail for every single expense in the district. It's a lot of information, but again, I like to give information and people that appreciate it, I know, enjoy looking through these lines. So then in the first page, I lump up by categories because obviously it's so much that I have to somehow lump it up. And I have little graphs that show from recent to prior years how expenses have evolved. Obviously, there's a lot of lines here, a lot of different things. In prior years, we were part of SAU 55. Some of the big jumps that you see there are because of that, because of the withdrawal of SAU 55 expenses that were in different places that now are incorporated into the operating budget. But I think it's just helpful to take a look of these things. And if you see in the last page for the total in that report, we see how much we have been spending out of the budget every year. And again, it's very consistent. So it's about 95, 96%, an average of 95% that we spend every year of our budget. So going back to the point that Todd made, that our budgets are done 18 months in advance, is very hard and very challenging to budget accurately for things that you don't know what is gonna happen in a year and a half.
With
Never
COVID,
mind tomorrow, yes.
right? With COVID in there
So,
too.
with
Withdrawals
COVID,
and-
because, yeah, it
Yep.
started here through COVID, so this has been my experience here, and it's just extremely challenging, but somehow we juggle it and make it happen, that we are being consistent and trying to spend our money wisely and carefully, so.
I think the public needs to really hear, we're spending about 95 to 97% of the money that you voters allotted to us.
Yep.
That's much more powerful a statement than saying we had a 7 million, right? Understand the difference in that? That we're spending and using wisely the money that you have appropriated.
Yep.
So, and you can see the trend. There's not been a year that we way underspent, or that, and we can't overspend anyway, but,
Yeah, but
that we've been pretty consistent with that. So
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
mean-
those are powerful numbers to see on a graph or a chart or a pie graph or a picture.
We don't want that number to get up to 100%.
No, you can't have that.
That's the danger zone,
Right,
so.
right.
no, I think
And people
it's
don't
a-
understand that, you know,
It's a healthy balance. It's a challenge. Obviously, it's a conscious effort that we do every day as a district. We are extremely careful. I can only speak for the last couple of years that I've been here, but I think me and my team are extremely careful of where we spend the money. We are planners. We are definitely planners. Carl as well, for the facilities projects, he takes the time, he takes the effort. He also has a very good team behind him, which is again part of my team, and we are being careful of what we're doing and looking always for the best approach on how to do things that will last for the years to come. That's our main focus. And then we just have our new budget, which is 76 million for this coming year. Again, we're looking to do a lot with what we have. We are also waiting for our performance contract audit. We are very excited to see what they have to say and see how much our budget would allow us to sign up for without having to go for a bond. See what we can do with what we have in the budget. So we're gonna, in balance and obviously with your authority, make a decision on how we want to spend the dollars that we have in the budget allocated for that. So,
I really love these graphs. I think that we should show these when we do the public hearing.
I think it's interesting.
Right.
For the public to understand. You know, there's nothing, there could be a group that asks some questions about a couple of these things, and well, there's a year that we had a default budget. And, you know, technology had a little bit of a bump, back in 17 or 16, someplace said they bought a big bunch of stuff that was when it all kind of started.
Yep.
I think that was the year that we implemented the computers for all the students.
Yeah, so, but you can see if you go on, it's
Special ed.
fairly steady,
Special ed's a
Special
big
ed.
rise, which we
Yep.
know.
which we know. And you can see the
Transportation.
services, as far as, you know, I think
But I
they're all
won't
very.
call salaries and benefits flat, but I mean, graphically speaking,
It's flat.
there's not huge spikes,
It's
you know what I mean?
consistent,
It's consistent.
which is
exactly.
the
Consistent.
healthiest thing
That's the,
to
yeah,
Okay.
right.
considering is 50%, 75% of our budget is salaries and benefits.
Sure. That's why I want always that circular graph. I think at a public hearing or at the deliberative session, that's a powerful
That shows the.
visual to show that, look how much of this goes to people that are doing the educating. And we want that.
Agreed.
Yeah, as well as seeing the gradual increase over time, because I think there are some misperceptions out there regarding what, all this money that you stole from us, you're not giving it back, you spend thrifting, you know, any money, any dollar you get in your hand, you're spending it. This begs to differ and suggest that it's near impossible for a household to, project 18 months out, yet you folks have all done a phenomenally good job of coming within a couple percentage point, year after year after year. Yeah, needs to get out there.
There used to be a fellow a long time, he's since passed away, but he said to me once, it'd be like you planning a trip to Colorado 2.5 years ahead of time, 18 months ahead of time, and setting a budget then, and coming back with 25 cents.
Yep.
You'd be pretty, phew,
Yeah.
right? We're
Especially when you didn't know how
phew.
many kids you had to take on the trip.
Right, you know,
We're huge,
you
yeah.
gotta,
every
you
month.
gotta look at it like that, it's.
It's not easy. It's
No.
it's a challenge and it's a science behind it. But I think, I mean, we're trying the best. We're trying to provide the best education that we can for our kids. We're trying to promote spaces for them that are conducive to learning, and we're doing the best that we can with the box that we have to make it happen for them. So I think we have a very focused team here at the SAU and facilities with the superintendent that we all are in agreement that that's our drive and that's our goal. So.
Any questions for Maria from anyone? Okay, thank you, Maria. With that, we are gonna move to other business. There's a couple things I wanted to touch on during other business, and then we'll cover the future dates. And then we'll adjourn. So, I asked, Michael had asked about this, and Michael Muscola had asked about this, and it was a discussion point in our last, budget committee meeting in March about the New Hampshire Education Voucher Program, just a little more information about it. We were gonna engage in a discussion. We can do that tonight. It was kind of Michael's thing. He called me and even mentioned that he knows potential state reps that might be able to come in and talk with us. So I appreciate you printing this up, Kelly, but I would like to table this while he's here at the next meeting and have a discussion, especially with Chris as well, because I know Chris Kellum was gonna do some research on this and talk about it from a superintendent's perspective. I think it'd be a more constructive conversation if we just have a fuller board for it the next time. So we can either reprint this or bring it back with you at the next meeting. But I think it's an interesting conversation because it does affect how we would potentially construct the budget here in the budget season. But that said, we're gonna do what we always do, which is budget for what the school needs. Right? We're gonna hear from all of the administrators from all the different buildings and the different departments. They're gonna come in here over the course of the next few months, and they're gonna talk to us about, what their needs are, and then that brings me to this. So, this is something near and dear to my heart ever since I started the budget committee. Something that we have the opportunity to go in, we and the public have the opportunity to go into every single building in this district. And it not only is it to help you put your eyes and your hands and your feet walking through these buildings, to be able to, talk to people in your towns and explain where this money is going or where it hasn't gone or why we need the money, because, in my mind, you have to see it to believe it. And my example that I've told for years is that I have 3 children in this district, but I'm in Danville. And I have literally never stepped foot in any other elementary school in this district. And I can't imagine it's any different for any other citizen in the district, right? And I have kids, so I've been in the elementary, the middle, and the high school, and the PAC, and all those buildings. But it still is an opportunity for the public to come and see, and for us as we construct this budget, because all these same department heads are gonna come sit in front of us and talk to us, and it's really helpful to have an understanding of what they're talking about when they come and present their budgets. So I've always found it very useful. It went away a little bit during COVID, but now we're back to, this will be the second year that we're gonna do it. I went to every one of them last year. I plan to go to every one of them this year. It's certainly not a requirement, but I think the flyer is a good idea because if you're willing, in Danville, we have one place where I know I would go put this, which is our only convenience store. I always call it Mayo's, but it's Danville Market. But I would probably want to go put this up there, right? Spread the word, because anyone's allowed to come. And I do think it's very important, because when they go in that ballot box and they have to vote on our budget, I think it's important that they've seen what we're talking about in these meetings. Even if they never watch one of our meetings, but maybe they're like, I went on that tour and I think it's important. I think this budget's important. I saw some things in disrepair and so anyway, so I don't know if we have more printouts than just this, or if everybody just got one, but I'm gonna make a couple copies and put it up in my town, and maybe go up and do one at the town hall. And to your point earlier, Mark, I think you were, I didn't go and meet with any of the selectmen, but,
Could we officially, through their admin, invite all the selectmen and make certain they at least have an electronic copy of this? I'll make certain it's posted in the town hall, because as some of us we all know, the selectmen are always hammered, and we're always hammered on where the money is going. The money, our tax bills, town tax bills are predominantly going to the schools. So let's take a look and see where that money's going, and make certain that not only the public, but those representatives of the public, our selectmen, are each invited to take the tour.
yeah, yes.
Not just of our own facilities, but of the other towns as
Who
well.
would that be in with the town clerk?
It'd be the
Maybe,
town
or-
clerk.
I'm gonna, in Plasto, I'll let the chair of the budget, of the,
So I'll take care of
Yeah.
that for
I'll
Sandown.
do
Yeah, we'll do that in
Plasto.
Kim
Danville.
Burnham for us.
So Sandown,
Yes,
Danville,
yeah.
Plastow.
Yeah.
We don't have Atkinson tonight. Oh, Atkinson. Sorry, Michael.
Aren't you glad you came?
Just maybe just an electronic reach out. Carrie, if you could get us this an electronic copy,
Of course.
we'll
Yeah.
share it
I
out.
wanted to make sure you liked it first.
Oh, I do.
Okay,
I do.
there's nothing you want to change?
No, I don't see anything I would
I
want
don't
to
see
change.
anything.
Anyone else?
Beautiful, okay, yes, I'll make
Yeah,
sure
if we have
everyone gets an
electronic, then we can
electronic.
send it to I can send it to the clerk, the secretary of the selectmen.
Yeah, and then maybe they print it up and,
I would put one in our libraries too. There's
Yeah.
gotta be
Oh,
a
good
balloon
call.
Yeah.
in our
that's a
libraries.
good
That's
Ooh,
a
that is
great
a good,
place.
yeah, that's a good idea. So we got a couple weeks, so, maybe we'll get some folks. I mean, so far, I've not been on any where it wasn't just the budget committee and a few people from the school board.
I've been trying to push it hard.
But we've never really taken it to this extreme, right? So let's
Let's put it
try
on
to
the
get
phone.
more people to come, and I mean, maybe a ton of people will show up, and it'll be a thing every year, right? I mean,
Can we
and
get
then over time, people can come and see, what the improvements look like that they went and voted for in the ballot box, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Do you have a community center? Well, Atkinson has a community center, I'd put it there.
We
I'm
do.
gonna-
Ours
I'll
is
do
not
Vic
utilized.
Air.
Yeah, we do, but ours is like.
Oh, oh.
private.
Coming though. It's
Yes, it
coming
is.
along.
Yes, it
I'm
is.
gonna do one for Vic Air.
Could I get
Yeah.
after the meeting
Yeah.
like a dozen copies of these just awesome.
We can do some social media posts too.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Can we utilize the school's social media?
Yeah, we can ask
It should come
Ken
through
to.
the school.
I think I think the announcement's already on the.
Is it on the
Timberlake District
district?
website.
It's on the
Yeah.
big district website.
It's on the
On
calendar.
the calendar, yeah.
We could reach out to PTA presidents and see if they have posted on their PTA pages.
That's actually a great
I
idea.
have
Those are the most
all of the
vested.
Sandown PTA emails, all of them.
Yeah, PTA is great.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how we reach parents.
So- let's take these flyers, take the electronic copy, take the paper copies, do what you will over the next 2 weeks, right? The first one is Tuesday, the 6th.
Yep.
So, a little less than 2 weeks. Then Thursday, September the 8th. So, for those watching at home, September the 6th at Timberlane Regional Middle School, the PAC, and the high school at 5 p.m. And then we have Thursday, September 8th, 5 p.m., and that's going to be starting at Sandown Elementary and ending at Danville Elementary. So it'll be Sandown North, Sandown Central, and then Danville Elementary. And then Tuesday, September 20th, at 5 p.m., we're going to start at Pollard and then end at Atkinson. So it's pretty much the order that we did last year, I think. And, for those who haven't ever walked into Atkinson, it's the oldest co-ed primary school in the country. I believe that is their claim to fame.
That is.
And it's quite an interesting tour, I thought, especially the basement. A little scary, but
I like the upper levels.
the upper levels are
For the
nice,
brave
yeah.
that
And
want to go
I got to
there.
ring the bell last year, so.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
At all these different meetings, where you actually going to be? Like, for the.
Generally meet at the main entrance.
Main entrance.
Yeah.
But which school, for example? 'Cause
It's on the flyer.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
it
we
is. Oh,
will.
I have it in front of me.
We'll start. Oh, sorry, Michael. We'll start at the middle school on the 6th, and then we go from there through the PAC to the high school, and then the Sandown North one. Obviously, you're gonna have to get in your car and go to Central, and then on to Danville, and then we start at Pollard on the 20th and drive over to Atkinson Academy, and then they usually start in the main entrance, and
yeah.
then we cover pretty much every inch of the
It's a
school. We don't
guided
go in every
tour.
classroom.
A guided tour, usually the facilities people are there. and
Yep, Carl will be
Sometimes
there.
there's some teachers there, some
Mhm.
principal is there.
Yep.
Talks about some good stuff that's happened, what they've had fixed, or show off some of their new stuff, and
Yep.
we'd like to have this fixed, and
Yep.
it's usually pretty good.
They
No,
talk about needs, but they talk
Yeah.
about, they talk about wants too, and
Yeah.
what they have planned,
Yeah.
over the coming years, their strategies and, what they wanna accomplish, and what they'd need from a facility perspective as well, so it's really an engaging time.
Since we have representatives of all the towns here, and I think you're volunteering for Sandown, reaching out to the PTA.
Sure.
Could we get representatives from the other towns to reach out to their PTAs? Because that's how the word spreads.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you can do Atkinson?
I can do Plastos, Pollitt's, yep.
Christie will do.
Yeah, I
PTA.
could post it. I could post it right on our PTA page.
That bounced right back so fast. Awesome.
But I'll take care of the town hall and the selectmen, so, okay. And Mayo's, and the library.
Library.
That's a good idea. Not the community center, there's no point.
You never know.
No, it's not. Well, we have, Old Home Day coming up this weekend.
Yes.
So we could get the flyer out there, and a ton of people will be over in that area.
Yep.
Okay.
And just posting it on the town pages as well. Like I know we have, it reaches out to people past, who aren't a part of the PTA, but
Yeah.
into the town.
Okay. All right, that's all I have for other business. Future agenda dates. So, like I just said, we have the 6th and the 8th. Those are the
Yeah, the
The
only,
6th is a tour. There's a tour on the 8th as
it says
well. and-
boardroom, yeah, that's just mislabeled.
No,
No.
we have a meeting that night.
Oh, it's 7,
we're
yep, but
yeah.
we're missing the tour as well.
Yeah, the tour's not in there.
Right.
But, so, that's another thing. So the 5 PM, Sandown North, Sandown Central, Danville Elementary, we would need to pretty much wrap that up by Danville, by 6:45 in order to make it back here for that meeting.
So
You wanna
are
make
we
that
gonna
meeting a
have
little
the
later?
meeting on the 8th, or are we gonna do the tour instead of the meeting?
Because we got the tour on Tuesday and the meeting on,
Well, we have a tour on Thursday as well.
yeah, sorry.
So,
Why
I
don't
think we
you
did this last year too.
Yeah,
make that
what-
meeting a little later?
We will not be, the administrators will not be ready by the 8th. Well, let's pull that up.
Look at that chart.
It's not in the agenda, but I think.
This one?
This, I
Yes.
got a chart, yeah.
I do, okay.
So we weren't gonna start listening to budgets until the 22nd anyway, and tours are done by then, right? Yes, we've done all the
Yeah.
tours.
Yes,
So the only night it conflicts is the 8th, correct? The 8th, we had a tour and a meeting.
Correct.
Correct.
So we could make the meeting a little bit later that night, give everybody a chance to get back. You gotta come from Danville and Sandown.
or we could just vote to make the next meeting the 22nd
Oh, and not,
and not have the 8th meeting and just do, the tour would essentially take up that night. Because there's no way we're gonna do both schools in Sandown and Danville come get back here anywhere close to 7.
I will second that motion if
And-
that is a motion.
And then, listen, this is why I think I'm recalling correctly. I think we did this last year because there was not gonna be any administrators or department heads that were gonna be anywhere close to ready by the 8th. Nothing that we've just covered, right? The
Right,
reviewing of last
right,
year's
unless-
numbers and everything, is going to happen between now and the 22nd.
and if there is, we can review it the 22nd.
Yes, yes. So, I'm gonna make a motion to cancel the next meeting on September 8th in lieu of the, facility tour scheduled that night.
Second?
All in favor? Okay. All opposed? Abstain? It's unanimous. All right, so let's cross that off. So with that said, the next time I will see any of you will be on the 6th for the tour of the high school and middle school. Does anyone have anything else? All right, with that I am going to adjourn tonight's meeting at 7:41 PM. All right?
Ooh,